Hey guys, so today what I'm going to be doing is taking a single boxwood shrub that I picked up at one of my local big box garden centers and splitting it up, and I hope to make several individual single stem or maybe double stem topiaries out of it. This shrub, I picked it up for like 25, 26 bucks, something like that. The price is still on it, 27 bucks. So picked it up, I found this one at Home Depot. Now what I look for in this one is multiple stems within there that appear as if they could be split. Now I pulled the shrub apart. Internally it does have several really good single straight stems through the center and the core of it, and then there's a few outline ones as well. Now ultimately what I'd like to do is to split this up and have multiple single stems that I can pot up in these just little plastic buckets. Now, I don't know if this is gonna work. This is gonna be our first go at it, so we're going to give it a whirl. What I'm gonna do first is pull it out of the pot, kind of assess the root ball, and then I'm going to use a serrated edge on a tool that I have to kind of split up the roots, and I'm gonna try to get this thing pulled apart as much as possible. Now, it's gonna be completely up in the air whether or not this is actually going to work or not, so bear with me. It's a learning experience for me on this one too, but I'm pretty confident that this is going to work out in the way I hope so, because based on how it looks at the base, it does not appear that it's just a couple of stems that have grown in together. I could be wrong. This could be a shrub that is going to completely surprise me when I pull it apart. So let's go ahead and get started and pull this out of the bucket and see what we've got. So this is the first time I've done anything with this. I did pick this particular one up at the same time as the boxwood that I picked up for a previous video where I was talking about the dwarf English that I've had in the past, and in that particular video I used a Green Mountain boxwood. Now this one is just listed as boxwood. It's not listed as any particular kind, but as you can see, it's really root bound. So what I'm gonna do is, I've got it here on this kind of tarp, but I'm gonna go through and try to just split up this as much as possible, because I want to really get in there and find out what this plant is really made of. Now, what I intend to do is to pull this apart and then get it potted up and not really trim it. I want to get this plant acclimated before I really start trimming it. I don't want to put it into shock and hurt it. But once it is acclimated, I will hit it with TopBuxus. And we're gonna see what we can do to kind of split this apart. This is incredibly root bound. Incredibly root bound. So this might not be anything whatsoever. We might just end up wasting a little bit of money, but you win some, you lose some. I'm sure I can salvage something out of this. Okay, so here we have one, and this one is all one. It's got a split, so that'll make a decent little topiary there. And we'll see if we can maybe split this one more time, because I know there's a really good one, really good central trunk here in the center. There's actually two, but I'm not sure if I'll have much luck splitting it out. So I'm going to take and cut off some of this root ball. And as I mentioned, it's a little root. I will go through and really soak this when I'm done, since I am really doing a number on it, because it's going to potentially put this into shock. But we want to see what we can do with it. And you can see into here. Let me fix this. So you can see this is what I was looking for here. And so it's got a really good centralized trunk that will lead up to a good little topiary standard. So if we remove everything else, we've got that. And that in and of itself is a good little topiary. Now down in here, they had started to grow together, and that is what I was really having a hard time cutting through. Now I know I can probably split this one more time. I might be able to get it off into there, but it's gonna be a little bit of a struggle. But I'm gonna see what I can do to cut this maybe into 2 more batches, and I think we'll be in good shape. So you'll get to watch me saw at this for a few more minutes. Let's see. I'm trying to segment this and divide the branches a little bit before I start sawing, because I don't want to break something unintentionally. Trying to just force it apart just a little bit. I can see where it's got its own roots. Okay, we're gonna just try a different one here. There's another one. This is a really good one. So it's got a good amount of roots on it. It's strip it back to here, and you've got a topiary by the end of summer. You're gonna have something really good with this. So I'm just gonna keep throwing them in my pile. I'm going to adjust my box. I'm sorry for being so technical, guys. There we go. So right now, where it stands, we've got 1, 2, that's a good one. That's a split stem. We've got a third, and then we've got this, that as it really gets down in here, it's quite woody, where they've grown together, so it's gonna be a little bit of a struggle to kind of get this one split, so it very well may be that we end up taking this one and just snipping some of the stems off of it and letting it be what it is. Set that there. So we're gonna cut a little bit more. Now, like I said, this is my first go at this. So with that being said, I would use something sharper next time. I thought this would be plenty, but I could use something just a little sharper, but it's doing the job. And this is a piece from Corona Tools. They sent me this in a tool set for our potting shed several years ago. There we go. That's another one. So we got some little broken parts. It's got roots on it, so we'll see. This, pull everything back. This one could very easily be a double. Strip everything else back, let those central stem go. It'll be good. And I think this is gonna be, this one's so woody. I don't think that I would be able to really cut much more off of this without really destroying it. So with that being said, I think I'm just going to go through and use one of these central trunks in through here and use that as my base for the topiary. Now it could be a double. This is just so woody down at the bottom. I don't believe I can split this up any further. I just want to look from the underside. Yeah, it's way woody. You can see that this was actually a couple of different ones that were all potted up together, and then it's just been left to its own devices to grow and do its thing and to be a shrub. It was not originally intended to be a topiary, but that doesn't mean it can't be one. We'll try to cut this. I don't know if it's going to work. We'll find out. We're gonna try to split it here in the middle. Yeah, this one, that's already starting to pull. They're so tight in here where there's so many different stems that have rooted. I don't know if this is going to work. Yeah, that one's starting to tear. It gets some roots. It has some roots. That one doesn't, but this does. So this could be one. And this is gonna be a long shot. But this here, that'll work. That'll do the job. So what I'm gonna do next is I will start getting my snips. I'm gonna snip all of the extra growth back and remove all of that. Now, my box is in the way. Give me just a second, I'll pick right back up. Okay, we're all fixed. So, as I was saying, I've got all of my clippings set up, and what I'll do next is go through and just start filling containers with some of the soil that I've got here in this. And then once they're all set up, because you don't want to leave the roots exposed for too long, you don't want to put the plant into shock any more than it already is, because I've done a number on these. So what I will do is I've got these. These are some Corona snips. These are wonderful. Love these. These are my go-tos. I've already cleaned them. You'll want to go through and clean them after each use, because you could be spreading some kind of nastiness and fungus or disease from one to another. And so what I'm doing right now is I'm cutting some of these little lower branches off, just cutting them completely off. And this here, I could leave that bottom part and let that be a ball at the bottom. I'm gonna leave it for right now so I don't put it too much into shock, but I am going to trim these upper limbs off, and I'm going to cap that. So this is where we want our bottom ball to be, and I'm just gonna strip a few leaves here and there. I'm not doing much on this because I don't want it to be any more angry than it already is. because these are not going to be the happiest. And I do have bamboo stakes that are behind me. You saw those falling over a moment ago. And we've got this. So I will stake those up later, but for right now I'm just going to leave it how it is. And my main focus is to get these into soil. So this one here, I'll go through, and I can snip, I'll probably just break them. I can snip some of this off. Okay, so some of these do have roots that I'm pulling off, and just pulling off some of the leaves. And this one will be a multi-stem that can go up into a ball. You could train, well, it's not anymore. It's a single stem because I just broke it. But that one I could probably pop it into the soil and it'd be just fine. So this is gonna be a great little single stem topiary. Got one little green stem I'm gonna pull off here. There we go. And grab another pot. And we'll get this potted up. So I do have a pond, and I have a lot of people in general just ask about what do you fertilize with? And to be honest, I don't use a lot of fertilizers. I do hit all the boxwoods with TopBuxus, but in regards to fertilizers in general, I typically just use pond water, and that's what I always recommend, whether it's for my myrtles or my little boxwoods. Now that is cute as a button. Laura, I know you'll think that's funny. So they're a little wonky. Now once they're watered, I'll compact them down again. I may add a little bit more soil. We'll get this one going. And this, I'm not gonna really trim, I'm just gonna pluck them off. Well, if you can hear that, someone's driving like a maniac through our neighborhood. And hopefully, this is something that you will have some success with. Now I'm going to bury this one a little bit deeper in there because of the way the roots are on it, but hopefully this is something that you'll find some success in making standard little topiaries. These are super cute, super cute. I wasn't sure if this was going to work. They very may well all still die. If they do, it is what it is. I would not be out that much money, but I think they'll be just fine. And these are actually some of the containers. I'm really bad about keeping containers. So these are the ones from the video that I did the other day where I was referencing the English boxwood, but they're actually English dwarf boxwoods. And they come in these little pots. So we'll get all of these little guys potted up, and once they have acclimated and they've had some time to adjust to their new miniature life, then at that point is when I would start trimming. I don't want to trim anything else. I want them to get acclimated. I don't want to injure these any more than I already have, like this, because that's probably not going to come back. I might be able to stick some of the little stems down in the ground and acquire a little bit of something, but I'm not going to get a whole lot. So this is the biggest one that we've got here as far as the boxwood. So I am going to go through, and I will do a little bit heftier of a trim on this. I'm going to go through and just start snipping away at some of these lower branches. They're not really going to make a big difference. Some of them are just barely hanging on. So there's no sense in leaving those lurking about. When we want to have a cute little topiary. Yeah, and so on this, as I'm splitting it apart, you can see it's probably, this is 1 to 2 on this particular plant here that has grown together, and the roots go off in separate directions. So I don't think I would have much luck in splitting it. It seems like it, oh no, it actually wants to. So there's one, and there's this. So we can probably, that broke off too. So we'll have this, and this is a really good candidate. So I'm gonna split all the limbs off of this and let it just be a taller standard. So this is just a learning process. I have not seen anybody do this. I was just at Home Depot and I thought, we're gonna give this a whirl and see if it works. I think that other people could potentially do the same thing and find some use out of it. So I will come back later and strip, specifically here, I'll strip all of these leaves off to force that, and it'll be a singular stem. I may come back in later and take that off, but for right now I'm gonna leave it because I don't want to injure this any more than I already have. And some of you may look at this and say, well, you ruined that, but you win some, you lose some. I'm not too worried about it. Too much dirt. The reason I've been really wanting to do this even more so is that my myrtles. So the myrtles, they add so much charm to the courtyard throughout the summer months, but myrtles are not hardy, and they have to go into the greenhouse or indoors in the winter. And I have a few small topiaries. I have, let's see, 2, 3, 5 large topiaries that are either holly or boxwoods. And those are fine outside, but I just wanted something that was a little bit more myrtle in size and something that gave a little bit more petite charm in the garden. So I still have one large, 2 large, and a small, and then some really little ones that I will pot up later. But I think this gives you guys a really good example of how you can take a regular everyday shrub from a garden center, your local nursery, wherever it is, split it up and come out with several topiaries. So here I've got 5, 6, 7, 8, and some little babies. So I think for 25, 27 bucks, that wasn't a bad deal at all. But I'm gonna get these guys watered up, and let me know what you guys try in the garden, what you're gonna try to split up and make into a topiary this season. So I'll talk to you guys soon, and happy gardening.